Welcome back to the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Merkel, here with the host today, Aaron and Joe. Go and say hi, guys.
Hi.
Alright, so in this video, we'll be giving our Week 1 NFL Power Rankings from 1 down to 10, starting with 10 and working our way back up to 1, giving you our top 10 teams in the NFL.
If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let us know what you think.
Yep, we're on our way to 250 subscribers. So, if you enjoy this video, please make sure to help us out in meeting that goal right down below. But, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So, starting off with, I lied a little bit. We're technically going to be starting with an honorable mention and then kicking off our 1 through 10 rankings. But an honorable mention, I was stuck between a few teams. I thought the Falcons with the addition of Kirk Cousins, maybe. I thought the Jets with a returning Aaron Rodgers. But I settled on the Los Angeles Rams, hopefully with a fully healthy Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford to start the season. They get off to a little bit better start than they did these last couple years. Obviously losing Aaron Donald this offseason, but I think they did a pretty good job in replacing him, bringing in Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, both out of Florida State, to pair together in that front seven of the D. On top of that, obviously Puka Nacua hopefully takes another step forward. Kyron Williams, I think, as well. And then bringing in Blake Corum to kind of bring in or provide some relief to Kyron Williams in the backfield, I think is going to be huge for that offense. So I think that offense could end up being one of the top ones in the NFC, maybe in the NFL this year. And then I think the defense will be able to do just enough to, win them games. So I got the Rams in my honorable mention.
Yeah, I don't mind the Rams there. I too was kind of stuck between like three teams, Rams included. Almost put Jacksonville there, but just kind of out of respect for this NFL vet, I went with the Falcons. Think they probably have a little bit easier time making the playoffs and kind of being up there in that top 10-ish spot as far as how easy the division is. So I went with the Falcons.
My honorable mention is the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
I'm not super high on Buffalo. They get the job done. Josh Allen is a superstar. I'll give him that. But a lot of brand new guys, a really, really young roster. They're going to have growing pains, I think. A lot of young talent, but they also already lost Matt Milano for the year. And I thought after losing Poyer and Tre'Davious White and all those guys, I thought Milano was the absolute glue that they needed to still be kind of relevant. So just all the question marks with the injuries and the new roster. But I'm giving the benefit to Josh Allen and at least giving the honorable mention.
Yeah,
Man after Burke's heart.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a team I also have, pretty far down the rankings considering where they've been in the past. But we'll get to them in a little bit. At number 10, I've got the Miami Dolphins, a team that kind of disappointing in the playoffs. A lot of that was kind of due to injury. They probably shouldn't have even been playing on the road in the first round of the playoffs last year. But suffering a lot of injuries on the edge rush position specifically last year. They just kind of stumbled into the playoffs, limped in, and had to go on the road to Kansas City in one of the coldest games in NFL history, where they just got their fingers froze off, and Mahomes' helmet broke, and they couldn't keep up with the two-time champions. But I think this year they'll end up getting off to another hot start. Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, obviously just got new contracts, both of them, so I think they'll be happy and incentivized to continue to tear up the NFL together in that offense. Tua should, hopefully take another step forward as well. Bringing in Kendall Fuller as well as Jordan Poyer to that secondary, I think could hopefully improve that side of the ball that, they've been, kind of lacking in recently. So hopefully adding those two to Jalen Ramsey already back there can improve a defense that needed some improvement. But I think it all comes down to health for them, and if they can stay healthy, they're definitely a top 10 team in the league.
Yeah, 10. I've got the Bills, kind of like Joe said. a lot of new faces there on both sides of the ball. Losing, Milano early, that hurts. But I've got them in the top 10 purely out of respect for what I expect Josh Allen to be able to do with this team, kind of no matter who he has there. I think he's got what is going to end up being a decent receiving room especially if you include Kincaid in that. I think the Bills will be in contention for the playoffs, despite some roster concerns. So
My number 10 team, I got the New York Jets.
Okay.
I might take some for that. I'm not necessarily thinking that they're like a Super Bowl team with Aaron Rodgers or none of that. Like, considering what their defense was able to do last year with the abysmal offense that they put out on that field. I should say quarterback play. I shouldn't say the entire offense. They still have Brees Hall, 1,500 all-purpose yards, 9 touchdowns. They still have Garrett Wilson, who I think anyone in the league can still say he's one of the best young receivers that are going around the league. You have Alan Lazard, and then the O-line is still there. So as long as Rodgers is healthy, it wasn't even a protection issue. It was literally ran around, boom, Achilles gone. So I just think that defense, even without Hassan Reddick, they didn't have Reddick last year, and they seem to do pretty well for themselves. Giving them an offense that can help keep them off the field from, most of the time, then I think they have a good shot. So I got them at 10.
My number 9 spot, I have a team both y'all have already listed already. I have the Bills, a little bit higher on them than y'all are to start the season at least. I actually almost had them at my 8, but then, factoring in the Matt Milano loss, also kind of thinking back to the losses on that secondary with Poyer, White, Micah Hyde. I had to drop them a little bit lower than I probably would have in past years. I expect Josh Allen to still, be able to carry that offense to a successful season. Keon Coleman hopefully comes out and, is able to supplant himself as the number 1 target up in Buffalo. Curtis Samuel hopefully can, keep doing what he's been doing. And maybe Khalil Shakir can take that next step, as well as Dalton Kincaid, James Cook as well out of the backfield. But the defense is going to be a big question for that Bills team. I don't know if they're going to be able to play to the level that they have been these past few years. So Josh Allen may have to be asked to do more than he's ever been asked to do before, which hasn't always went the Bills' way in the past. A lot of turnovers, a lot of poor decisions. So hopefully he can prove that he is once and for all a top 2 quarterback in the NFL.
9. I've got Dem Boys. I've got the Cowboys. A lot of talent on that roster, but coaching, I think, is kind of what led them to their downfall in the playoffs last year. And I think that's still kind of up in the air. New defensive coordinator. McCarthy's still there, obviously running the offense. So I've got them down at 9. I expect them to probably move up just because not a whole lot of competition in the NFC. But, with the talent they have, they should easily be a top 5 team. It's just a question of coaching and execution for me.
I'm going to piggyback on Aaron. My number 9 is the Cowboys, too. I almost put them at 10. I felt that would be just a little too disrespectful, considering the Jets didn't do anything last year. But, they have 12 wins in 3 straight seasons, so I'm going to give them that. They'll finish in a weak division, or weak NFC, I should say. I think they'll make it into the playoffs. In case anybody's brand new to this, they are trash in the playoffs. I have no faith in them. They'll probably stay at my number 9 ranking, even if they're undefeated going into the playoffs, because they're not a powerhouse. But like Aaron said, they have all the talent. That defense was a top defense last year. Unfortunately, we don't get to see Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland on the field together, because Deron Bland is now hurt. So, nonetheless, at least they get one guy back when one goes out. Cowboys at 9.
Well, I feel like 10's disrespectful. I don't even have my top 12, so... at number 8, I've got the Cincinnati Bengals. I think with a returning Joe Burrow, they should be able to get back to form. Last year, they almost made the playoffs with Jake Browning under center, so with a proven, all-pro caliber quarterback. They should be able to exceed that standard. Losing Tyler Boyd obviously hurts, but hopefully T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, can provide enough, as well as, adding Mike Gesicki to the tight end position. And then, losing Joe Mixon, bringing in Zach Moss, that also is going to be a little bit difficult, or a little bit of a step back, I should say. But I think the offensive line should be a bit improved, which is going to be huge for Joe Burrow. If he can, if he has time, then he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league when you provide him the time to do so. Defense, once again, should be their biggest question mark. Losing a couple key pieces, Chidobe Awuzie, DJ Reader, not really replacing those two guys with anybody either, so defense could be a question, and that could end up being, especially in the AFC North, a big reason that they don't reach their full potential, and a big reason they end up losing the division overall. So I've got the Bengals at 8, but I can see it going either way for them this year.
Yeah, I've got the Dolphins at 8, kind of like Burke said earlier. Should be an explosive, fun offense yet again this year, but a lot of age on that defense, which is good. A lot of veteran leadership, a lot of experience. But on the other hand, they're not just veteran players. A lot of them are old as shit, and I worry about them staying healthy for an entire season. So I've got them at 8. They could easily be higher if things go their way and they stay healthy, but that is my number one concern for the Dolphins.
I'm gonna keep this one short. I got the Dolphins. So, I'm not. You guys said everything. Let's go. Come on, Tua. I hope I'm jumping them higher later. That's it.
At 7, I've got the team I've been really high on, and Aaron's giving me shit for, the Green Bay Packers. I've got them as one of the... Well, I've got them finishing the season as the best team in the NFC. That probably is a little optimistic. Obviously, this is only going to be Jordan Love's second year as a starting quarterback. But they've got a really fun group of young weapons on the offensive end of the football, as well as adding Josh Jacobs to replace Aaron Jones should, in my opinion, inject a little bit of extra life into that running game, with Aaron Jones kind of having a little bit of an up and down trajectory these last couple seasons with the injuries. Josh Jacobs should hopefully be able to provide some consistency and maybe stay on the field a little bit more. But on top of that, adding Xavier McKinney to the safety position, probably their biggest weakness on defense, I think is huge. Moving on from Joe Barry, DC, I think is huge. That defense should get even better than it was at the end of last season when it really started to turn things around. Jordan Love should, continue to get better than he was last season when he began to, officially turn things around. So yeah, I got the Packers, 7th in the power rankings right now. I could see them, a little bit of a sophomore slump, maybe falling down a little bit. I could see them also exceeding expectations once again and moving up. So,
yeah, I have given you a lot of shit for how much you love the Packers, and there's no hypocrisy, as I have them at number 7 as well. For a lot of the same reasons you have. I'll just add quickly that I think it'll be really fun to watch. Their young offensive core take the next step forward this year. That receiving core should be absolutely filthy.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So, time to shake things up. With my number 7 pick, I have the Packers of Green Bay as well.
Oh, okay.
Well done.
Yes, nice. Good shake-up.
That's about it. Go ahead, go to 6.
Okay.
Let's keep this quick on that one.
That's funny. That's crazy. Lucky number 7, Green Bay. Maybe you're in for a title run.
We did not talk about this beforehand. To put that out there, this was not planned. This is.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Like
luck is in the air
something.
for the Packers, I guess. But at 6, I've got the Houston Texans, another team I'm probably jumping the gun on this year. Aaron's face makes me think he might have the same.
No.
Houston last year surpassed all expectations, as I've said millions of times this offseason. CJ Stroud should continue to take that next step forward as being the best quarterback from that draft and maybe one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Adding Stephon Diggs, adding Joe Mixon just makes that offense even more lethal. And then the defensive side should, honestly take a step forward, I think, bringing in Danielle Hunter. Hopefully, Will Anderson continues to improve off of a Rookie of the Year campaign that he had last year. But yeah, I got the Texans at 6, and Aaron, go ahead and tell me why you do too.
Yeah, I mean the addition of Stephon Diggs to what's already or what was already a promising receiving room, um, is just another tool in the arsenal of C.J. Stroud, who's had one of the most fantastic rookie seasons of all time, and I hope people don't make that the standard, because that is absolutely the outlier for rookie quarterbacks. And I don't know if the defense, they lost some players, but they also added in some players probably of equal caliber. So I don't think there's a lot of drawbacks from that defense, and I think it'll probably be pretty similar production-wise as to the team last year. I'd probably say a couple more wins and in contention for a high seed in the playoffs.
This is number 6, right? My number 6 team. I got Philly actually for number 6 for me. They had a bottom 3 defense last year as far as points per game went. I'm expecting that to improve overall. Just they do have some young pieces, but there's going to be a lot on like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. There's going to be a lot up to them with no Fletcher Cox and stuff like that. Quinyon Mitchell, rookie. Cooper DeJean, another rookie. So, I mean, there could be some growing pains there. I still feel like there's a lot to like, but a lot of it is on Jalen Hurts being at the helm and A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley. They got loads of talent on that offensive side of the ball. That I don't think that was a problem.
John Dotson, somehow.
Yeah.
Can we take a minute to just like
trade?
How?
That was nuts.
How? I would like to know.
I don't know what Washington's doing. Let's draft Jaden Daniels. I think they're taking the Chargers approach.
Yeah.
Hey, we got our future guy. Now let's get rid of everybody we have.
Just to show how good he is.
Still be that guy. Yeah. But nonetheless, I think Philly's gonna, they fell apart in the second half of the season. I think the biggest thing is gonna be what's that relationship between Jalen Hurts and Sirianni after everything that came out this past offseason about them. And if they need to start hot. If they don't start off hot, I think Sirianni find his way out the door. They're not, they paid Jalen. He's there to stay. So, but still a lot to like. I mean, can't take away the fact that they were in the Super Bowl just a few years ago. They, they're not missing too many pieces from that team. So, I mean, I still think they got it. They're still in the same conference as the Cowboys. So, if they get the Cowboys in the first round, that pretty much means the Eagles got a first round bye and they make it to the next. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, but I got Eagles at 6.
Yeah, a lot of reasons that you just stated. I've got the Eagles at 5. I just think the experience is the main reason I've got them ahead of teams like Houston, Green Bay. But I agree, Sirianni is on the hot seat in my opinion as well. If him and Hurts don't, figure it out and have a deep playoff run this year, I think he could find himself out the door. If they miss the playoffs altogether, I think I'd be shocked if Sirianni is a Philadelphia Eagles head coach next year. But I think Philly should be fine. They've got a ton of talent. Adding Jahan Dotson, like y'all said, against all odds. I don't understand how the fuck they keep doing this kind of shit. But, yeah, that receiving core is going to be great. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith both just signed extensions as well. Got Goddard, who, if he can stay healthy, is one of the top 10 tight ends in the league. Added Saquon Barkley this offseason, a top 5, top 10 running back. So, yeah, Eagles are going to be great. Just going to be a matter of if they can make that deep playoff run or not. So I got them at 5.
I got the Bengals at 5. I think Burrow's going to be back to his normal self, and they'll be an absolutely lethal team. They seem fairly similar to the Bengals of the last couple of years. Some lethal receivers, a decent running back, and just kind of maybe a little bit unpredictable on defense. I think their worst part's probably their O-line, but I think Burrow's good enough to kind of make up for that. So I think the Bengals will be there, probably, expecting to make a deep playoff run.
I have number 5 for me is Houston. I got the Texans at 5. The only reason them and Philly were very flop, the experience for Philly wanted me to put them at 5, but Houston had, based on points per game, the number 11 defense, and if anybody knows or remembers, they have a very young core, and with a guy like D'Amico Ryans at the helm for that defense, I only see it getting better. We saw what the offense did. We saw the historical rookie season by Stroud. You add Stephon Diggs to that arsenal that they already have. Tank Dell being healthy, like I think Houston, it looks like only up from here, barring any injuries. Another reason I knocked Philly down to 6 under Houston also was losing Jason Kelsey. As an O-line guy, I know a lot of people don't pay attention to the O-line, but a great center like that can make all 4 of the guys better. A bad center can make all 4 guys worse. Like, it really can. So that connection with the new center and that O-line, the communication, him and Jalen Hurts' communication. I mean, I think there might be some growing pains in the beginning, hence why I gave Houston the number 5 nod instead of Philly.
I think that's fair. I heard Jason Kelsey was actually the one calling out formations, coverages, or whatever a lot of the times. So
Actions.
Kelsey did a lot more than I think even other centers do at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big, now they have a first year starter coming in for him, which is, he's supposed to be a guy. Jason Kelsey wrote him off. He signed off on this guy Jergens, but no experience yet.
No, I think that's fair. Number 4, I've got the team that came up just short in the AFC Championship game last year, but added a big piece, the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, bringing in Derrick Henry this offseason to pair with Lamar Jackson should make that running game of the Baltimore Ravens that's been so good these last few seasons just so much better. It's really just going to come down to, are they going to want to run the ball when they face the Chiefs in the playoffs or not? Because last year they decided they didn't want to. They wanted to try to beat the Chiefs by passing the ball, and that's kind of what inevitably cost them the game. Hopefully with an animal like Derrick Henry in the backfield, they choose to go the other route for their sakes. But Baltimore is going to be great. Losing Patrick Queen and Geno Stone on defense may hurt a little bit, but you still got Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphreys, and then you just brought in, what's-his-face from Clemson? Oh, geez. Nate Wiggins from Clemson. So that defense is going to be just fine. Offense is going to be probably even better. Would be nice to have another receiver for Lamar to throw to, obviously. I know you've been talking about that all offseason, Aaron, and they just seem to keep ignoring you. Not sure why. But
For years.
And they just won't listen to Aaron. Pick up the phone, Baltimore. But, I've got Baltimore at 4. They should be right up there atop the conference again. Facing, probably the toughest division in football, though. So anything's possible. We could see them barely sneaking in as a wild card team.
Yeah, I think once you kind of get to these top 4 teams for I'm guessing all 3 of us, they're kind of interchangeable. They're all up there contending for the Super Bowl. I've got the Ravens at 4 as well. If they would just get a good receiver to throw to, like a good young guy in his prime, like OBJ, that was a good get, but he's old, Get a guy in his prime. I'd love to see what Lamar could do with some people to throw to, not just a lethal run game and him, playing backyard football. So I would like to nominate him as our starting flag football team. Please.
Yes.
I
like that.
Hey, hold on. There's a guy out there that's better than Mahomes. All right.
True.
Yeah.
He's an IQ alone.
Hip thing that
there's a reason why he didn't name
NFL players
Lamar.
can't do.
Lamar, eat that boy up.
Yeah. I got the Ravens at 4.
Like Aaron said, I think the top 4 are going to be very similar. 3 and 4 were another really, really close. For me, I'm giving the nod this one to Baltimore at number 4. All the right reasons you said. If they had another weapon, that'd be really nice. I mean, they had the number 1 defense, based on points per game. I'm just going points per game right now. They had the number 1 defense last year in scoring, and that's without any weapons. So again, I guess they're another team somewhat following the Chargers, but instead of getting rid of guys. They're just deciding not to add anybody to the room at all, I guess.
Only draft picks that bust or is Zay Flowers,
Yeah.
who's cool. But
Boom or bust, yeah. That's all it seems like. Adding Derrick Henry, the Steelers fan, I'm not excited about that. You got to deal with Lamar Jackson already. Like, he's a threat in himself that we haven't seen since Michael Vick. And then you're gonna add the most bruising running back in the NFL by far, a guy who can carry it 50 times a game if you need him to, and he'll still show up in the fourth quarter no matter what. I mean, yeah, that's just a few little things that got him at 4. It's more respect for the other team is why they're not at 3.
yeah, and that tells me that our I mean, we already knew our top 2 were the same, but number 3 is probably all the Detroit Lions, then I'd imagine.
No.
Oh, not Aaron. Okay. Well, number 3, I've got the Detroit Lions. I think last year they showed that if they just weren't quite so aggressive, maybe they could have been playing for a Super Bowl last year. But being a little over aggressive cost them in the conference championship game, coming up just short to San Francisco after holding the lead at halftime, and then just avalanche of mistakes after halftime. But bringing back basically the same team, similar to the Ravens. I wish they would add another wide receiver weapon for Jared Goff to throw to, because it's basically Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, and then, fuck all. Unless Jameson Williams can take another step forward. I really like the run game with Swift and Montgomery. Yeah, David Montgomery. I really like the running game with what's the other guy's name?
Mayor Gibbs.
Gibbs. I got 2 Chicago, because Montgomery used to play there. But I like their run game with Gibbs and Montgomery. Defense should be better, I think. Aiden Hutchinson's obviously one of the best edge rushers in the league. Secondary is probably still a question mark, but yeah, I mean, Lions should be atop the conference once again and fighting for a potential conference championship again.
I don't even have the Lions in my top 11.
Yeah, well, that's crazy. Okay.
And that's because I feel like last year was kind of a Cinderella run. I don't really have a lot of faith in Jared Goff. I think they'll be fine.
You hate Jared Goff. Let's clarify. You hate Jared Goff, bro.
I think he's very overrated. I think he's, very Alex Smith-esque. He's a game manager.
Yeah, you hate Alex
Smith. He's not out there
to
win the Lions games. They he carries them to, an average record this year. That's what I think. I've got the Eagles at 3. I think that offense is just going to be absolutely ridiculous. Like Joe said, they lost all-pro caliber center Jason Kelce, but they got the guy who he sort of mentored. So I think that offense probably looks improved from where it ended the season last season. As dysfunctional as that was, they got Big Dom back and promoted, so he can't be kicked off the sideline anymore. And I think the Eagles will be obviously in contention for that 1 seed in the NFC.
Oh, with nothing that you guys had to say, I need to flip my 3 and 4. We're unprofessional. I didn't have notes or nothing ready. All I had was teams written down. I didn't realize that Detroit had a bottom 10 defense in points per game. I don't like that. I'm a big defensive guy. Hence why I think the Niners and the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl last year and why they seem to be constant Super Bowl contenders. So I'm dropping the Lions down to 4 just because of that. That's really all it is. I do like what they have. I like Dan Campbell. I do think the culture shift plays a big part. Like Detroit, they believe they're one of the best teams in the league. Those fans believe they have one of the best teams in the league. That can carry you a long way, but still the NFL. So switching it, my number 3 will be Baltimore now. Number 4 I'm dropping Detroit down 1. I didn't like the defensive stats that I saw when I just looked it up. But nonetheless, I still think they're a tough team, and that's a team that, hey, you knock them down, they're going to take a kneecap off on the way up. You knock them down, they're taking another chunk on the way back up. And I think that really is part of their culture, and I think they're willing to go toe-to-toe with any and everybody.
Yeah, I think they could be taking a lot of chunks this year because I think We're gonna get knocked down a lot.
I don't blame you for why you don't have him in the top 11, and I really don't. I don't hate what you said. Now the Alex Smith banter, we need to cut that shit out. We need to stop that.
Hey,
All
I
right.
don't think Alex Smith.
You hate
Yeah,
Alex
you
Smith.
don't
You,
lie.
you've said for years that you hate Alex
Great.
Smith.
No, I agree, but you don't like the guy.
I like Alex Smith exponentially more than I like Jared Goff. I will
If
say
Alex
that.
Smith had Andy Reid for 5 years, I think this would be a different conversation.
Oh, Jared Goff with Andy Reid would be like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Don't get me wrong.
Andy Reid's gonna put anybody in a winning situation. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna give him to that.
Number 2.
It's crazy he got talent now.
Number 2, I've got the San Francisco 49ers. Fell up just short in the Super Bowl last year, losing in overtime to the Chiefs. And yeah, they should be right back atop the NFL again, bringing back essentially the same exact team for the most part. Brock Purdy should continue to get better. I almost had them below the Lions because of the Trent Williams stuff that's been popping up recently, but I decided against that because I'm sure that they'll end up playing and they'll be fine. Should have one of the top 5 defenses in the league again as well, and then obviously the best running back on the face of the planet in Christian McCaffrey. So yeah, Niners at 2.
Yeah, I've got the Niners at 2 as well. They have probably the most stacked roster in the NFL, but they don't have the most stacked coach or quarterback in the NFL, and that's really all that matters.
I got Frisco at 2, like you guys. Put out in top 3 defense every single year. Brock Purdy is obviously the question mark that everyone keeps putting up there. He added some weight this offseason. We'll see if that's a benefit
Test
or
him.
if that makes
Test
it
him.
worse for him.
No, he's
Looks
played like
he's
shit
been
in the
weight room
preseason,
with
I'm
Joey
sure.
Bosa and McCaffrey, man. That dude he's looking beefy out there. But yeah, I mean, Niners have been the Niners. They're the team to beat in the NFC, no matter what anyone says. And one, I think it's all about to be the same. So with that, good with that big ass KC in the background, Bert.
And number 1, we've
Nobody's
got
here.
the back-to-back, soon-to-be first 3 straight time Super Bowl winning champion Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, no, the Chiefs
You
are.
might have just hurt them because of that. You're not the guy to be saying that. Come on, man. That doesn't go. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I also screwed it up, but I've got the Chiefs at number 1. Obviously, just coming off their second straight Super Bowl, bringing back essentially the same roster as they had last year. Hopefully improving a little bit in the wide receiver room, bringing in Xavier Worthy, just signing Hollywood Brown, and then bringing back familiar face Juju Smith-Schuster recently to probably be the 4th receiver of that group. And then the defense, one of the best in the league last year, lose L'Jarius Sneed, so you could maybe see a little bit of a step back in the secondary this year, but outside of that, I mean, basically the same exact defense. You do lose Willie Gay as well in the linebacker room, but he didn't exactly start a lot last year. You got Drew Tranquill and Nick Bolton to fill that hole. Defensive line basically brought the entire unit back, so the defense should be just as good as they were last year, and then offense should hopefully be better. So, yeah, I got the Chiefs at number 1, best team in the NFL right now.
Best head coach, best quarterback, best tight end. Added some depth to that receiving room. I think I like where the Chiefs are at. As a fan, and I never thought I'd say that growing up. So I like the Chiefs at 1.
Yeah. I said this last year, as I'm at the point now. As long as you got 15 back there at quarterback, you give yourself a shot. No one other than Tom Brady has really proven to be able to stop that guy. And we all know Tom Brady's the GOAT, and that's all that right now. That's all.
Hey,
that
Tom
Mahomes
Brady's
is
not
chasing,
walking through
it
that
seems
door.
like right now.
Tom Brady's not walking
No.
through that door, buddy. Better watch out, NFL. Tom Brady's not going to
Yeah,
save you.
Although I will apologize for all the Chiefs fans for Burke being the guy to just say the three-peat and call it, because this is the same guy who led the Baker Mayfield train, who's led the Will Levis
Daniel
train,
Jones.
and Daniel Jones. Because he was spot on with that one too.
Hey, I'm 1-1,
So,
and jury's still out on Will Levis. I was right about Baker, at least for now. Daniel Jones was a miss.
Yeah, I'll give you the Baker one. The
But
Daniel Jones was
That was a miss. That was a miss.
was a bomb.
Yeah, that one was bad. Jury's still out on
Anyways,
Will
you got
Levis.
emotional. You're okay on this one. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, but as long as you got 15 back there, you got a chance. Back-to-back Super Bowl champs until you can knock them out of the freaking playoffs. I don't see Josh Allen doing it. Burrow's the only guy right now that I think has a chance, and he's already 0-1 with them in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, not Super Bowl, but anyways.
Like I said, Tom Brady's
Go
not
ahead.
walking through that door. Huh? Unless you
Where
guys
is he?
got anything? Oh gosh, he did say he might come back. Don't say that. He's the boogeyman. But unless y'all got anything else, I think that'll do it for this episode. Please make sure to comment down below what your top 10 NFL power rankings are, and if you agree or disagree with any of our opinions. I've been your host, Zach Circleberg Bertle, here with the coach today, Aaron and Joe. Go ahead and say bye, guys.
Bye.
Alright, like and subscribe if you made it this far into the video. Other than that, deuces. Have a good day.